I like their use of VFX. It looks pretty good, but for some reason in my head, Ramayana was always about like I don't know. I feel like Mahabharat vibe than Raman vibe with all
Uh-huh.
the fight scenes and stuff like that. But I guess there is a lot of those in Ramayana too. I quite don't remember.
I didn't quite like VFX. It seemed more like it was.
Welcome back, everyone, to the UTPod. Today, we're gonna dive into Bollywood movies, Hindi movies, and as always, we have company over here. Kitsa, how you doing?
Doing pretty good, yeah.
Have you watched any new movie recently?
Uh, Bollywood or in general?
Bollywood movie. I think we're gonna focus on some Bollywood movie today.
Bollywood movie. The last movie I watched was Durandha. Yeah.
How did you sit through like 4 hours of Durandha? That's a long,
Oh
long,
yeah, yeah.
long, long movie.
It's tough, and also in most of the theaters in the U.S. they don't give interval break. Yeah, it was
But
it
I
was
heard
tough.
some theater were doing it, right?
Yeah,
Did they
some
do
do.
it
Yeah,
where you're watching? Yeah.
yeah. I think AMC does and Cinemark does not, or maybe there are like theaters they do, but the theater I was in did not have that break. Yeah.
Yeah. Generally on theater, their bigger money is concessions, right? So it almost
Uh,
feels like you should just have a intermission. That way you can get more people going out and eating things and buying.
yeah. So like when I was in Dallas, the theaters used to have that because they have a lot of Bollywood movies. But here, I don't see much focus in Bollywood movies. So yeah, and even like some of the movies, they used to have only one show at 9 p.m.
But I think they're changing. You get a lot more shows in US Bollywood movies. It's a lot more
Uh-huh.
bigger market. Talking about that, even the new movie Ramayana, they came to US and released their teaser trailer, whatever.
Uh-huh.
So did you get chance to watch that?
Oh yeah, I watched the teaser. Yes, I did. How did you like it?
I mean, VFX wise and everything, it looked pretty good. It was kind of a shorter teaser, so I did not. I like their use of VFX. It looks pretty good, but for some reason in my head, uh, Ramayana was always about like I don't know. I feel like Mahabharat vibe than Raman vibe with all
Uh-huh.
the fight scenes and stuff like that. But I guess there is a lot of those in Ramayana too, right? I quite don't remember.
Yes, but okay. So first, you like VFX. I didn't quite like VFX. It
Okay.
seemed to be so. The teaser itself, it seemed more like it was character introduction rather than a teaser for Ramayana because it only showed Ranbir Kapoor throughout the
Mm-hmm.
movie. It didn't show any other characters. So it's more like a character introduction for Ram.
Okay.
Second, for VFX, it seemed like it was rather a demo reel of a VFX work rather than like teaser or character introduction itself too.
So yeah, what you said about like a demo reel kind of makes sense because that's
Uh,
that's why I kind of don't agree that it was like a character reel. It was more like a demo for a VFX because if I was them, I would start if I was doing a character portrait, I would just start slowly as a Ramayana like thing and like
uh,
put in a little bit and like show those VFX at the end. It almost looks like they were targeting to kind of show the magnitude of the VFX, magnitude of the movie rather than actual just introducing character.
but again, like VFX itself, it wasn't top notch given they constantly advertised that it was 400 crore movie. I don't see that effort, that much detail in VFX, right? So good VFX should be something that you don't notice, but here you notice it right away. And one of the
Yeah,
things they
that's
were
kind of
trying to promote earlier was that this is not a story, this is our history. But how can it be history if the visuals are not very historic accurate, or even like the moment you see, you realize it's not true, it's not real. So that kind of like, draws you away from that historic or realistic approach.
That's a very good point. It almost makes me feel like a superhero movie, right? Like
Uh-huh.
they're trying to create Ram as a character of a superhero movie. Uh, and there's element of that in Ramayana. Like he's a superhero guy, lives 14 years in jungle, this, that, Hanuman is the superhero, right? So there's those characters. But I think the point about our history or something like that, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Like what you're showing is looks like a fairy tale rather than like a
Uh-huh.
historic uh, element of it. So it kind of makes sense what you're saying.
Yeah, so again, this is just a teaser, and they might have a lot of thinking or work behind it. But from the teaser itself, like if you're saying it's a history, then you should have a rough timeline of when it was, and you can try to mimic what kind of environment was it back then, based on the studies or based on the Ramayana itself. There's a lot of details about botany in Ramayana, with like this kind of plants and all of that are mentioned in Ramayana. So you can utilize that and have a practical set, and like in a small practical set, and extend it with VFX instead of doing everything in VFX.
And this kind of movie is also in kind of trend of lot of Hindi, South Indian movies that are like big movies nowadays. Like it's like a
Uh-huh.
grand movies. Like
Uh-huh.
if you compare that to Hollywood, you can say it like it's like in big superhero movies and stuff like. But it feels bigger than that for some reason. Like what's going on? Like you go back to like Bahubali,
Uh-huh.
KKRRR, like all this movie. And there's another movie from
Kantara.
director of Bahubali. Yeah,
Oh.
so they all
Mm.
kind of make it. No, it says something
No,
like A.
Kantara is
There's like
something
an
else.
yeah. There's no. There's another movie that's coming. It's kind of similar to this, like
Yeah.
but
So you don't know. It's with Priyanka Chopra and Mahesh Babu. I'm
yeah,
blanking out
yeah,
on
right,
that.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So it almost kind of feels like. Why do you think there is this kind of movie in last 4, 5, 6 years? Just the magnitude of this kind of movie. Why do you think that's happening in Bollywood?
I think it's so there's this annoying trend in Bollywood that if one movie does really well, then people producers will try to copy the formula and try to like uh, use it as per their understanding. Like we saw Animal, and we saw a bunch of action movies after that. Some of them did not need to be depicted so gore, right? But still, they try to advertise as the bloodiest action movie and all of that. Also, after Bahubali, there was this trend of trying to make historic movies after that. So it seems to be that trend. And also, for some reason, there is like this obsession of making 500 crore, 1,000 crore movies. And that might also have contributed to this.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense if you think about like back in the days, right around 2004, 5, 6. There was a lot of movie like Dabang kind of movie, right?
Uh-huh.
Like Uh, that doesn't really have a big plot. It's just like a thin plot and a lot of action on it. And it is so that used to be like the formula. Yeah. Keep your brain at home and watch the movie kind of formula.
Uh-huh.
It went on for a while and it slowly lost its traction. Uh, one of the reason I think we see this kind of grand magnitude of movies is this kind of granular movies because uh, movie watching has been very saturated. right? You have Netflix, you have Amazon, and all kind of places that you can watch movie. So you want to make movies that people need to go to theater and watch it. And this kind of movie, you definitely want to go on theater and watch it because it's so big. It's not enough on your to watch it on your screen. You aren't gonna get the same kind of pleasure. I think that has something to do with it too.
That makes sense. Yeah, but again, does the audience think the same way? Right. One of the uh, point I want to bring it is that some of the movies that are like magnus opus and a grand budget and all of that, what they do is the distributor in the US, they would not be distributing those movies as regular movies. They would be distributing as special events, and tickets for those would be like $30, right? If they're doing that, and if they're also like increasing the price in the US, at least, right? Like audiences might not be drawn to us, like, is it really worth it? Right.
But I think a lot of the I think on US there are a lot of distributor who are taking those movies too. Like
Yeah. So what
uh
they do is like they have to pay certain amount to get the distribution, right? And what they end up doing is that they hike up the price. And instead of like regular release, they have like special event. So it will be like you can go to Cinemark or AMC, but it will be marked as special events. So it won't have those 50% off on Tuesdays or regular ticketing price. It will be like $30, $25. For example, I watched 2.0 Rajnikant movie, and it was
mhm.
$30 for the ticket, right? And there
I
was,
watched that movie too.
mhm.
I was so excited about that movie. I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah. And KGF was also similar. Same thing with Bahubali. Uh, and there was this recent movie I forgot, but it was also like price was marked like really high. So if you are distributing that way, then it's kind of like disappointing for your audience, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if you compare that to like price of IMAX movies and all that, I mean, kind of makes sense. I think people are okay spending that money.
Yeah. So if it's IMAX version, then yes, like I'm
I
fine
think
paying that. If it's
Ramayana gonna
regular
have
version,
IMAX.
then yeah. So
I think
I was
Ramayana
talking
gonna have
about the
because
regular releases, right? So if it's
all the
IMAX, if
bigger
it's
movie.
special format, then it makes sense. If it's non IMAX standard version, and if it's $30, then it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, so will you be watching it in IMAX?
I don't know, honestly, because the VFX does not look really good for me. So if VFX is not good and the movie seems to be like VFX heavy and does not seem to be using like practical set or real location, then I don't think it's worth watching in IMAX.
So, but what is it filmed in IMAX or is it filmed for IMAX?
I think it's filmed for IMAX. Yeah.
For IMAX, okay, yeah.
Mhm.
I was kind of confused because yeah, they put a lot of money on it, a lot of money
Uh-huh.
on it. Uh, okay. What is the other topic you wanted to talk about?
So expanding on the VFX itself, right? Like, if did you notice those characters, demons, and all of that Ram was fighting?
Yeah,
Did you find anything odd with that?
I I could not. I watched it twice.
Uh-huh.
My head just went like, where was this in Ramayana? That's all I was thinking about. Yeah.
So
What did you notice?
those demons were there in Ramayana, and there's like detailed description about their appearance and all of that. But one thing it struck me was that those demons were like westernized demon, right? Like, almost as if they cross over from Lord of the Rings, not from like Ramayana, right? Uh, if you have if you've grown up watching Ramanand Saga's Ramayana, then demons are in a portrait a particular way, but this demon it just seemed like it just came from Lord of the Rings.
That makes sense. So maybe I think the VFX guy is like 8-time Oscar winning
Hmm.
guy and all.
Yeah,
So
DNAZ.
I, yeah, sometimes you kind of run into those problems when people uh, do not understand the actual culture that the movie is talking about. It can be a problem for them to yeah, it almost gonna feel like Hollywoodization of Ramayana. So I don't know how people
Hmm.
gonna take that.
And if you're connecting it with history and depicting those demons, those characters, as with the Western look, then it doesn't sit well, right? And funny thing is that Marvel, they had released Spider-Man India, and there they had the character of Green Goblin, right? Like in the West, Green Goblin is portrayed in a particular way. When they portrayed Green Goblin, I think the name was Nalin Oberoi. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it was portrayed as Indian demon. It was not portrayed as
Mm.
regular Green Goblin. So if West can do that, making a comic for India, then why can't, like, we are making Ramayana and, like, it's portrayed different way? Why?
So was the character shown differently too, or it was same character just named different?
No, so it's like a parallel universe, right? The Spider-Man character is also Indian character. I think it was Pravakar or something like that,
Oh,
right? So in the
oh,
Spider-Man multiverse or across the multiverse, something like that, the animated movies, it's portrayed there as well for the Spider-Man itself, right? So it's portrayed in like
oh,
different way.
interesting. Interesting. I think they would try to do something like that. Disney, right? There was like a series with Kumal Nanjiani and all that. They had like South Asian superhero. They had like way too many superhero in one movie
Yeah,
and it kind of flopped.
yeah, that's Eternals. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but
I
also
mean, yeah.
in that movie, the portrayal of Bollywood is really kind of like stereotypical, right? Like when they say when Hollywood tries to represent Bollywood, then they will just like dance numbers and people dancing and all of that, right? But Bollywood now is completely different. It's not just like
Right.
dancing and like so like the Bollywood depiction in Hollywood, like I cannot recognize that as Bollywood at all.
That's, that's pretty funny. Yeah, yeah. The dancing and all. For some reason, they need to put dancing just to make it, yeah,
Uh-huh.
make it more compatible for India. But it
Yeah.
is people in India are like no, not really.
Hmm.
Okay, so what was the other topic we were talking about?
So how do you like Ranbir Kapoor's portrayal of Ram itself?
People who watched it, they thought it looked really good. For
Uh-huh.
me, I don't know if I can think him anything other than Ranbir Kapoor. But well,
Mhm.
what did you think?
Well, again, going back to Ramanand Sagar, right? The portrayal of Ram by Arun Govil, that is kind of like imprinted in my memory. So whenever I see portrayal of Ram, I instantly compare it with that. Like, that's almost like natural for me. And looking at the portrayal in the teaser itself, it seemed very different, right? So the first scene is like backtracking shot of Ram walking through the crowd. I think it's coronation, Ram's coronation, or maybe not. Not sure about that, but he's just walking very like heroic, kind of like Superman is walking, right? Like it almost seems like Superman's walk. But if it was Ram, then he would be very gracious, very respectful of the crowd. He would probably be walking around with like hands like this, or from the back shot itself, it didn't seem like that's true portrayal of Ram. Uh, and again, like in other shots, like him smiling, like I think the last shot of him facing towards camera and giving that smile. Again, Ram's portrayal feels like his smile should be radiant, like very honest smile. It didn't seem like that, right?
Yeah,
And again, his like action scenes where he's like flipping off the tree and all of that. Yeah, like you said, it felt very action oriented, like Mahabharata, not actual Ramayana, right? So yeah,
yep,
kind of like
yep.
not sure if that's actually like good representation of Ram.
Yeah, I mean, it also depends how much they have used that throughout the movie. If they have only
Mhm.
used it at instance like this, and there are more that touchy, that I don't know. Whenever I think about Ram, I just think about like a humble, down to
Exactly.
earth, like
Hmm.
that kind of guy. So if we have those kind of scenario in there, I
Hmm.
think I think that would be different. And these are all the peaks and highs of the movies that we are seeing on this trailer.
Hmm.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. When you talk about it, it almost feels like there will be a big excitement of the movie up front. But
Hmm.
I don't know if public gonna just accept the movie the way I think the makers are thinking, because as you said, there's a baggage of it, right? Like we have a
Hmm.
baggage. We don't have baggage. We didn't have baggage of Bahubali, or we didn't have baggage of
Yeah.
all that.
Mm.
But this one, I feel like there will be a baggage of historic context, like things that you watched, grew up watching, portrayed in this one. I don't know how
Mm.
people gonna digest it.
Yeah. So talking about that, the importance of this movie is that the newer generation that might not have watched Ramanand Saga's Ramayana, this would be Ramayana for them, right? Uh, if I, for the older generation who have watched Ramanand Sagar, they would be comparing it with Ramayana. There's no doubt about that. But the newer generation might accept it. But again, is the portrayal of Ramayana or Ram done correctly? That is huge responsibility for the filmmakers.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And again, yeah, but I mean, I think it's gonna open good. It's gonna open good.
Oh
Everybody
yeah.
gonna be
Mhm.
excited about it. But
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know how you're actually gonna do it. We need to watch and decide on that.
Yeah. Talking about that, there is this post that's picking up steam in social media. Someone replaced Ranbir Kapoor's face from Ramayana teaser and superimposed Sushant Singh Rajput's image on that. And people are comparing, like, hey, Sushant Singh would have been a better choice for this movie.
Mm, yeah, it kind of makes sense, that humbleness of
Mm.
the guy.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, Susan, the other day I was watching some clips of Dhoni.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't know, for some reason, I think that's something I need to get out of my mind myself. Is for some reason when I know the person, when you know who the person is and all that, and somebody else that I am familiar with portrayed that person, it's
Mhm.
so tough to digest it.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
did you did you watch Love Story, FX Love Story, John F. Kennedy's son's Love Story series?
No, no, no.
So there's this guy who portrays John F. K's, and
Uh,
for some reason, son JFK's son, and so for some
uh,
reason I feel like he is John F. K's son, because I'm not
uh,
too familiar with its son's face. I'm
uh,
not too familiar with this particular character's face, right? So whenever somebody portrays that for some reason, yeah, yeah. So I don't know. As you said, Ramayana. So I think sounds good, but I don't know, once you saw in action how you would feel.
uh.
But a lot of people do like Ranveer as Ram. I've heard few comments, so it should same. But I was just wondering, historically, did he had all those apps or not? Did
Yeah,
Ram had
not
all those apps or not? You know?
yeah, not sure about that if it's mentioned in Valmiki's Ramayana, but yeah, that it would be something
Like
interesting to look up.
You know how Jesus is portrayed as like a white guy everywhere. I'm like,
Mhm.
chances are very low. The guy was born in Middle East. He might be a little bit more brownish than you guys think. So
Yeah.
Ram may not have had all those apps like
Mhm.
defined apps like you saw it in the movie. It might be a
Mhm.
little different,
Yeah.
but who knows? So yeah, let's you wanted to talk something about the budget of the movie. Is it justified or
Oh
not,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What do you
Uh,
think?
4,000 crore. That's a lot of money. In teaser, at least, I didn't see it being justified. What do you think?
Yeah, I think most of yeah that yeah 400 crore is a stiff money.
4,000
Mm,
crore.
I mean 4,000 crore or 400 crore.
Oh, let me look up. I think it's 4,000 crore.
I I thought you said 400. Oh, 4,000. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think most of it went to VFX, right? I do believe most of it went to VFX. So yeah, I think we have to see more to
Mhm.
decide if it's worth it or not. Just by what we see, I don't know. I don't know if it is.
So, is this going to be two-part or three-part series?
I have no clue.
Okay.
Let me check that.
I know it's at least two-part, but
Yeah, that is at least two part. Yeah.
mm,
So go ahead. Keep on talking. I'm looking at.
okay, yeah. So if it's two-part or three-part series, and they're trying to, if each movie is like 4 hours, then maybe it can be, somewhat justified. But just looking at VFX, I do not see it. And also for VFX itself, like they should have used like practical effects, practical set. Uh, at least in teaser, it seemed like they did most of the scenes in green screen studio without any
Yeah,
practical
it looks
sets.
like
You
that.
know.
So they say it's supposed to be two-part series.
Mhm.
Two-part, 6 hour,
Mhm.
and they're thinking about Hanuman spin-off later on.
Oh, okay.
So, so I think 400 crore is for two-part.
For that,
4,000
four
crore. Why am
thousand.
I saying 400? 4,000.
Because that's
4,000
the normal
crore.
movies are less than that. Like it's in 400 crore range, right? So that's why
Right, yeah, yeah,
even
4,000.
lesser
Yeah.
than that. But yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it does not feel like it has yeah, it doesn't feel like 4,000 crore yet. I think we
Uh-huh.
have to watch a little more to decide on it.
Yeah, and also it seems like the creativity versus profit or like budget kind of thing, right? Like I do not see much of. I won't say I do not see it, but like the focus seems to be more about like showcasing. Look, we have this much budget. We had to use this much budget, rather than showing it in like creative way. You know, uh, it seems more like they were inspired from Avatar and tried to have that environment in Ramayana instead, rather than having, okay, what might be historically accurate representation of environment back then, like I mentioned earlier, and try to mimic that.
I think they might have also been trying to just up the envelope overall in the movie using certain kind of VFX and certain stuff like that, and their main focus might have been that, and they're just like they took for granted what this. Again, we are saying all this without watching the movie, so I think I think we need to watch the movie and see. Okay, did it really do justify it? What it did, what did it spend, and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So I think we should hold our thought
Yeah.
on actual how the impact until we watch the
Mhm.
movie, which is July, June, July, August, something like that.
Yeah. So for the teaser itself, was there any shot that you like really liked from the teaser?
I'm fan of silhouette shots, so
Mm.
the him with the what is that called?
Arrow,
Bow,
bow and arrow. Yeah.
bow,
Mm.
bow and arrow, like holding up and like the sun rising, like the silhouette shot. I like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah,
I
that
also
reminded
like
me of the
the
shot from the Dune movie. It kind of like looks similar.
in middle of desert, but I don't think there was
Yeah.
any desert around there, so we'll see.
Mm.
Uh, and the other one was like on the boat where everybody were just like on a
Yeah.
soft
Hmm.
focus, and somebody calls him. I have no idea who calls him. It's like a
Hmm.
call that comes Ram, and he like looks at
Yeah,
that was pretty
I
cool
think
shot.
that shot is when King dies, right? And then
Mm,
he, uh, I think that's that shot, or it could be a shot where he is going for his like 14 years banbas, right? It could be that,
that's
but
what I felt like. I thought they were going for it. That's how it felt
mhm,
like.
yeah. And one thing I noticed there was that for Ram, right, like his face is lit with nightlight, and it's blue. And for a moment, I was like, yeah, why is it blue? In the movies, they use blue light to show like nighttime, but then Ram, Krishna, they're also portrayed with blue. So I don't know if that's where they were going for, but it reminded me of that.
Isn't Ram like Vishnu's avatar?
Yes, yes. Hmm.
Yeah, Ram. There's so many Vishnu's avatar, but yeah. Okay, so anything else we missed?
We can talk about Durandha if you want.
Uh, okay, I haven't watched it. I don't know if
Okay.
I can do 4 hours.
Mhm.
And first, when I watched it once it came to Netflix. Then I liked
Mhm.
watching it in Netflix
Mhm.
for some reason. 4 hours in a movie theater is tough. You have watched it, so let me hear your opinion about it.
Um, for me, it was so like watching Bahubali 1 and Bahubali 2. Bahubali 2, like, it was worth it, right? Like, from the story point of view and the hook they had at the end of Bahubali 1. And from overall quality, Bahubali 2, like, made sense watching it. I was not disappointed. I was happy watching it, right? Like, it completed the story. But from Dhurandhar 1 to Dhurandhar 2, it didn't seem like that. It was almost as like Pushpa 1 and Pushpa 2, right? Like, the quality went like down. Uh, it, and also there were lots of direct political references as well. It was like heavily inclined and almost like justifying or whitewashing one political side. And that kind of like, threw me off a bit. And also from the storytelling point of view too. I don't know how much spoiler you want.
Yeah, you can go ahead and spoil it. I'm
Uh,
okay with it.
so the one of the main opponent or for Ranbir Singh's character is Arjun Rampal, and
Mm-hmm.
the villains, they have to like be portrayed as if, like, for Akshay Khanna's character, like, he's aura farming throughout the first movie, right? And when he's facing off between Sanjay Dutt and Ranveer Singh, there's just like, who will win kind of like, they all of them are like very strong characters, very evil characters, and all of that. But for Arjun Rampal's character, there is a subplot where it's showed as if he's kind of like very weak character. Like, his father is like,
Mm.
constantly nagging at him, saying, "Hey, you are worthless. You cannot do this," and he's like silent and all that. It kind of takes away from his how badass he was in first part. Whereas in second part, like, there's this subplot, and it seemed like, okay, he's not as strong as he should be, right? And then like he finally kills his father, and then like goes into rage mode. But it's look at the final scene, it doesn't seem like he is really badass villain. There's anything stake at it at all, like. So it kind of
Yeah,
like.
in
Mhm.
Yeah, in first part, they were trying to portray him as like a ruthless guy, right? Like
Yeah.
there's nothing to
Hmm.
him. He's very ruthless and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
sometimes I think what they try to do is, for most part in movie, that's a good thing that
Uh-huh.
you are trying to create more like characteristics into the character. Like
Uh-huh.
no character is a bad character and stuff like that. But again, you want to keep some character as like a ruthless. Like
Uh-huh.
whenever you watch like a modern drama and stuff like that, every time people try to find, oh, why is this guy a serial killer? What has happened in his life and this or that. Sometimes
Uh-huh.
people are just like that. People
Yeah,
are
and
just
also
cruel.
if you analyze that subplot of his relationship with his father, it almost seemed like that subplot was solely there to justify or showcase the political inclination towards one party, right? Like if
Mm,
you take away that subplot, then the movie will not have as much as that like political inclination towards that party. So it
interesting.
seemed kind of forced as well. And also there are lots of like assassinations and everything in that movie. Like, for Sanjay Dutt character is also like, really badass character, but his ending is very weak as well.
So it was like good setup, but like a weak ending. Yeah, I like Durandha
Uh-huh.
first. Durandha first was
Uh-huh.
pretty interesting. I think you're
Uh-huh.
discovering. And another thing is, I don't know why do you need 4 hours? You could have really made it like a trilogy or something like that. I
Uh-huh.
think I think all this movie has a bad thing about like part three being bad and not popular, and I think that's why they are trying to finish in two. Because I
Yeah.
think the way they are thinking is, first people will come as a curiosity, they will like
Uh-huh.
it. Second, they will come and watch it because they
Uh-huh.
like the first one. They may not have appetite for the third one. And most of the time, I don't think they are wrong. Like even Godfather 1 and 2 was really good. Third was kind of iffy. So all this third part kind of dips down. Like
Uh-huh.
maybe that's one of the reason they're just sticking with two. But man, 4 hours is a long time.
So funny that you mentioned that because I don't buy this theory, but they were saying that this movie was originally planned as like single movie, not like two-part movie, right? I don't buy
You're
that.
gonna watch.
Exactly, right. So the half like interval should be would be when Akshay Khanna's character dies. That was the interval planned for the like original full length movie. But I don't think that makes sense at all.
Yeah, I mean I blame what's his face Anurag Kashyap for it. I think
Mhm.
once he did Gangs of Wasseypura, everybody was
Yeah.
like, yeah, let's do similar way.
Also, from the music
Anyway,
point of
yeah.
view or songs point of view, it was huge let down there as well because the first movie had a lot of banger tracks, and here it was like none of the music really stood out for me.
And most of the music on first one they used older songs
Uh-huh.
and kind of I love their use of music.
Yeah.
I don't know about the music about the songs itself, but the way
Mm.
the songs were used and how it was
Uh-huh.
used, like I liked it. Okay. And you don't see that in the second. That's what you're saying,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Anything else we need? We have been going on for about 40 minutes. So anything else we missed or
I think we're good. We covered a lot. We've been going for
like
like almost 40 minutes now.
okay, awesome. So I think we'll end our talk here today, but there will be something else exciting coming midweek. And we'll see you guys again next week. Thank you.